Hello everybody, I am going to be making this video on the control hotkeys of PowerPoint and all the letters of the alphabet, so the hotkey of control A through Z for PowerPoint. So we are going to get started. And before I even start anything, I just want to adjust something here on my PowerPoint screen. If you see here the 69%, that is the zoom percent. If I click on that, then I want to change it to fit. And the reason why is you'll see here, if I change the orientation of the window of this computer program PowerPoint, if I change it to the left, orient it to the left, so Windows left arrow key, then it's going to automatically adjust the slide, the size of the slide. So regardless of wherever I move it. So if I want to bring it back to full screen, so there we go. So 69% originally, but if I orient it to the left or right, then it changes to 55%. So that's what the fit zoom does for that. So I'm going to be doing that for there. And same thing with Word here. I'm going to change the adjustment. So right now I put it on text width, but I'm going to change it to page. Actually, I'm just going to keep it that way. So text width, meaning the text that you see here is all centered in the view, so you can see everything. So I'm going to first start with the letter A. So Control A. I think everyone has pretty much has been used to this. So Control A is select all. When you're selecting a text box, then you are selecting all the text in the text box. Now, if you're in the slide, if you select the background here, and if I press Control A, then it selects everything that's within the background. If I click on the slide and press Control A there, that way, then it selects all the slides. So Control A works differently for every selection that you pick. So if nothing is selected or the escape key is pressed, so let's say if I clicked on the text box and I escape, then it selects the text box itself, and then if I press escape one more time, then it selects to nothing. And then if I press Control A that way, then it'll select all the text box. So it will be selecting all the slides. Now if you click on one slide and press Control A, then it'll click on all slides. If selected background of a slide, which we did, then it selects everything in that specific slide, and in the text box, the text. Control B, the popular bold. So if I wanted to make all the text bolded, then I would select all of them and Control B, and there we go. Now you guys have been used to clicking the Control B here, but if you look at that window that just popped up, the Control B shows that's the hotkey for it. Control C, that's also the famous copy and paste. So select what you want to copy and Control C there. And copies type of selection selected. Okay, now what that means is if I selected the text box but I want to select just the box itself, then if I copy the box then paste, it'll make that copy. Now if I copied the slide, Control C, and pasted, then it'll bring me that. Now you guys may see that it's blank. Well, the reason why it's blank is because the design the background style I chose was black here, so that's why. So the background image doesn't follow, but here it doesn't match up. But let me change the text color. The words are still there, is what I'm trying to say, but the only thing that's different is the background image is not going to be there. Control D, duplicate. Okay, so let's say you select the slide. So let me give you a heads up. Control D only works for a selection, not with a text. So if I select this text box and I press Control D, then it works the same way as Control C, Control V, copy and paste, but instead duplicate is the faster hotkey for duplicating. Now if it were the case for duplicating a slide, then I select the slide and Control D, there we go. Now I taught you guys before that if you wanted to duplicate the slide, then you right click and duplicate slide is there, but Control D is the hotkey for both selecting whatever is inside the slide and the slide itself. So duplicates type of selection. Control E, center align. Now if you see here, this text is actually centered align right now. And this here, that is the center align. So Control E, that is the hotkey there. And if you see here, that's also the other aligned selections that you can choose. So left for Control L and right for Control R, which I will explain again. And here, justify. That is a specific kind of adjustment for like newspapers. If you look at them, they have columns of text where they're all equally aligned. They're not distorted like here. So let me show you an example what justify looks like. So it would look like this right now because the text has not reached all the way to the end, but let me show you what I mean by that. So there we go. Right now I'm just taking away the enter spaces between these lines right now, and I'm deleting that space to combine it. But the main idea is this is what justify looks like. It makes the text touch the left side and the right side. So that is what justify is, which commonly is for newspapers, but here in this ministry we're just going to be mostly using center align, so Control E, and it's used for text. Control F, finding a text. So if I press Control F, then it asks me what I want to find. So let's say, for example, I want to find a specific type, a song by the title. Let's say, How Great Is Our God. And then there we go. How Great Is Our God shows up there. Now, if you wanted to find a specific kind of text in a song, but you don't know the title of it, well, it works the same way. So let's say we know there's a phrase, all the earth rejoice. Well, all the earth rejoice. Okay. Well, if I were to make that selection, there we go. All the earth rejoice. It gives me that phrase, and then it takes me to the title, that phrase of the slide, wherever that phrase is in a slide. And if I wanted to match the case, then it will match the case as it is. But if I unclick it and I press Find Next, then it will find the next phrase. Now, what is the difference of me selecting this one and this one? What is the difference if I press Find Next? What's the difference if the computer program finds the phrase? Well, match case matches the case itself, whether it's uppercase or lowercase. So right now I have a lowercase a, which all the earth right there, it's lowercase, but if I unclick match case, then it allows me to find all the text regardless of its case, as long as it has the same letters of character. Yeah. So that is Control Find. And find whole words only. That is the case when you can find the word itself, just by itself. You cannot. Let's say if I take away the S, it won't find it that way because you're finding the whole word specifically, and it doesn't work for let's see, all the earth. So you see how it's been disabled. Well, it's because there are more than one words. So it only works for the case when you're finding one words, in which it enables it again. So find next. So I'm going to close out of that. And if I press Ctrl F again, replace, I will go into that later on. Control G. Okay, now Control G mostly works for images usually, and I'll explain why it only works for images. But right now I'm gonna give you guys some images here. Let's say shapes, and if I wanted to add a heart, there's the heart, and let's do one more, a flowchart, something like that. Okay, so now we have all these selections here. Now what I'm going to be doing here for Control G is I'm going to be selecting all the I'm going to be selecting the images, because remember, Control G only works for images. So how I'm doing this right now is I'm holding the Control button and clicking to select the to filter what I want specifically. Now if I press Control G now, if you see what happened, it made these 3 images all into one box. Now if I want, now this is the case when you want to edit all these things at once. So let's say if I wanted to change them into the color red. Well, let me bring it back to the full size, so that, and there we go, back to the 69%. So you see here, there's the new tab that just came out when I was working on the images. Now let's say if I wanted to change the color, then there we go. It applies all the same. In black, there we go. Shape outline, same thing as well. It'll apply all. Now, if I wanted to go back and change them independently, the hotkey for that is going to be Control-Shift-G. And if you see that, I just pressed Control-Shift-G. It all went back to its own boxes. And if I press Control-G again, it's going to be grouping them all together. So G for grouping. So I'm going to take that away. So mainly for images, and the reason why I say it's only for images is, let's say if you wanted to combine the text for the Apostles' Creed and the text itself. So I'm going to press Control A, selecting the background, Control A. Now let's see if I press Control G. Now it doesn't work, and the reason why is, let's say for example, if this title, let me select one. Say this title slide was overlapping the text box. If I press Control G and the title slide together, then it's not going to work, because if you see here, the text will overlap, and there's no way that text boxes can overlap each other because they have the same cases. So it doesn't work that way, but only for images. So that is it for now, for the first part of the hotkeys, and later on I will be explaining more of the rest of the control hotkeys for PowerPoint.